r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What's one thing a therapist has said to you that you will never forget? The urge to binge lasts 7 minutes. I struggled with binge eating disorder for 20 years and finally sought help last January. I would get the urge to binge around the same time every night, around 9:30. I bought a little Sudoku book from the dollar store and played for 10 minutes every time I got the urge to binge. Obviously it took a lot more than that statement for me to begin my recovery, and those 7 minutes were absolutely grueling for the first few months, but I can proudly say I've been binge free since February 1st, 2023. I wish it were 7 minutes for me. I can last hours sometimes, but the urge rarely goes away, even when I'm so full I feel sick. It was an hour and a half for me. I remember exactly because that's how long I'd go for a walk and listen to my podcast or audiobooks before I could go back home and out of the danger zone. I took the same route every time. When exactly an hour and a half passed of my walking, the desire to binge lifted and I felt good. I did that for weeks almost every day until finally the urge started to go away. You're a people pleaser. And aren't you a people? So, when is it your turn? Unspoken expectations of others are just future resentments. Edit, because this is getting so many votes and so many questions. Also so happy that me packing my brain with little quotes like this to help me and my friends is now being passed on to so many other people that need to hear it. This quote is not suggesting that you stop expecting things from others. It just means that if you do have expectations of others, it's your responsibility to make the other person aware of them. For example, if you expect your husband to clean the dishes after you've cooked dinner, but you never voice those expectations to him, then eventually you will resent him for not doing it. People need to be taught how we would like them to be our friends. Then it's up to them if they want to do those things or not. She asked if there was anything I wanted to do in my life that I no longer thought I could do. I told her that I wanted to go to law school, but that was no longer in the cards for me. She said, "You know that you can still go to law school, right? No one has to give you permission." I'll be graduating with my JD in May of next year. I doubt she understood the true impact of her simple statement that day. That child that was never loved or acknowledged is still waiting, not on your parents, but on you. You are her parent now. Will you ignore her, not love her, not value her, and not find her worthy as well? You decide if she thrives or survives. Your parents let her down. Will you do the same? A therapist once told me, "You don't have to fix everything at once, just start somewhere." It helped me let go of the pressure to be perfect and focus on small steps. It made the bigger issues feel less overwhelming. When you stop making yourself small, some people will no longer fit in your life. You're going to piss off a lot of people when you start doing what's best for you. There comes a time when you have to transition from being your son's manager to his consultant. You show up for other people because no one ever showed up for you, and you don't ever want anyone else to feel that pain. Notice the feelings, like leaves on a river. Call them what they are, then let them go. Let them float down the river past you. Don't judge yourself for having them, and don't engage with them. Simply acknowledge them, let them go, and move on. I remember these words vividly because it's a coping strategy I use almost every day. Depression doesn't have to be sadness or the lack of happiness. It could come in the form of unresolved anger. Made me reframe a lot of what I was trying to fix. You've brought up how Chipotle sending you just a bowl of beans in a DoorDash order has affected you 9 times in your last 25 visits. I believe you may be autistic. Spoiler, I'm autistic. For me it was. I'm a bit in over my head with you, to be honest. I'm going to have to refer you to someone else. Lol. Today will be our last session. I feel you have accomplished your therapy goals. I had not. But it was time for her to move states, to be with a romantic partner, so all of her patients were cured on the same day. A Festivus miracle. Just because someone is trying their best, that doesn't mean it's okay. For context, we were discussing a family member who just sucks at communicating. He often just ignores me, makes no attempts to get to know me as I'm now, is generally just not a great family member. He's trying his best, but it's not good enough. I don't have to act like it is. Therapist, if you were my client, while you were a minor I would have absolutely called child services. Me, what? Why? They weren't perfect, but it's not like they were abusing me. Therapist, after a brief pause, not all abuse leaves bruises that others can see. Maybe the reason it's so hard to believe your significant other loves you is because it's the first time in your life you've ever experienced unconditional love. There is a difference between I don't want to live anymore and I don't want to live like this anymore. Yep, Mrs. Kim, you were right, and I'm still around. When you get married, realize that you're marrying multiple people. Who you are and who your spouse is today isn't going to be who they are 10-15 years from now. Change the way I view a lot of discussions with my partner ever since. When I told her about being sexually abused as a 4-year-old, I said we got caught, and she stopped me and said, he got caught. One single letter changed the sentence in my life. For me, it was a time I was talking about how self-conscious I was when dating, and what that other person thought of me. She told me, you're so focused on whether that person would like you, that you don't even realize if you even like them back. Depression is in the past. Anxiety is in the future. Stay in the present. It sounds so simple, but really hit hard given what I was going through. You can be alone, and that's okay. If only one person ever loves you, even if that person is you, it is enough. One thing a therapist once said to me that I'll never forget is, you're allowed to feel how you feel, even if you don't have all the answers right now. It stuck with me because I often felt the need to immediately fix or rationalize my emotions instead of just sitting with them. That statement made me realize it's okay to not have everything figured out and that emotions themselves are valid, even without clear explanations. It was freeing to understand that I didn't need to solve everything at once. Your self-confidence will fluctuate day to day, maybe even minute to minute. That's transient. But what doesn't fluctuate is your knowledge, your training, your intelligence and intellect. Those things stay consistent and improve with time. Don't put too much stock in your self-confidence being a measure of how competent you are. Trust in the other things that are consistent and concrete. Can black people get tattoos? I never went back to her. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening. Tell your friends about me.